Hey guys, I wanted to make a series for new moms, new parents, whatever the situation is, new guardians, to help everybody understand what comes into having a baby, dealing with a baby, also to just help educate. I have a strong desire to just be able to be helpful. I have been helping raise children since I was 9 years old. I have two of my own children. Also, when I used to be heavy into church, I also did some children's ministries, all at different ages of children. In high school, I also took some early childhood development classes and then also took early childhood development classes in college. And at that point, I decided that it wasn't necessarily for me, but I still like to help educate. So if I can help somebody else, that's what I want to do. Today, we are going to be doing a video on why is feeding babies so complicated. Now, while I go along in this video, you will see cue cards that will pop up. That's just to help give more constructive information because I tend to rant and ramble. So so that way you can have more coherent information and not just me rambling. And if you need to take notes, you can. Also, if you I don't know, need that information for any reason, leave comments in the comments down below. I will more than happy be able to send this stuff to you. If it's like helpful for a class or whatever your needs are, just let me know in the comments down below. Hey, do you have whatever? We'll figure out how to get in touch and I'll send all the stuff that I have because I don't mind sharing. Sharing is caring. So, why is feeding a baby so complicated? Breast, bottle, pump, and everything in between. So feeding basics, fed is best. Every baby is different, whether it is formula fed, breastfed, pumped. As long as baby is getting fed, I also want you to know that this is a judgment-free zone. So please, if you're in the comments, leave your hate somewhere else. We accept every kind of situation. You don't know what somebody else's situation is, please do not judge them based on your opinion of whatever's going on. And I will get into a tangent of why pumping or breastfeeding doesn't always work for everybody. So first, we're going to get into breastfeeding, the pros and the cons. Okay, the pros. Nutrients perfectly tailored for a baby and immune support and bonding. Cons, it can be painful, demanding, time investive, and emotionally draining. My mom breastfed my sisters. Different things happened through breastfeeding each of my sisters. Every situation was not the same. So there's a lot of times where you can breastfeed baby long term. There's some situations where you cannot. It is very time investing. Sometimes when you're in the middle of something, you're going to have to find a situation. It wasn't as easy for her then as it is for mothers now. But even now, we're still finding it very hard to find a place just for moms to be able to breastfeed. Luckily, there's more areas that are breastfeeding friendly, but it's not always, that convenient. Pumping, how it helps. Pumping gives flexibility. Others can feed the baby, and you can also store the milk. The equipment might be expensive and time consuming and tiring. So, some of the other cons that also come up are not all places take the time to understand the safety behind it. I know that there's plenty of stores that say they have a mother's area. They don't, because they clearly don't understand the needed of safety when it comes to pumping. So as much as there are work-friendly environments, not every store adheres to those work-friendly environments. So you might not be in a position to even pump once you get to that point. Hopefully you are in a place where your work has a room that no male goes into, because men should not be in pumping rooms. I don't care what anybody says. Hopefully yours has an area for that, has a clean table, has a clean seat. There are people that you can call up if your work does not have that readily available for you, or at least just a place for you to pump. Pumps, you have manual versus electronics versus singles and doubles. You have accessories, flange, breast shields, tubings, valves, different size for different comforts and efficiencies. So I have a perfect example of an electronic one. This is hands-free. It has a little remote so you can adjust the pool and then the milk drainage. I forget what it's called. But the good thing about this one is the valves don't have to be cleaned out as often because it's mainly for the pumping. And so the milk goes directly into here, where you have other valves that will connect and bring the milk out, and then the milk will go through the tubes. Those you have to clean out regularly. And not that saying that you don't clean these out regularly. I'm just saying that it's not as tedious as pumping some other accessories. Oh yeah, no, I'm ready to go. Here, like, Sky. Really? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we have these are hakas, right? I wish I had the thing because it's be a lot easier to show you. So you invert it like this, then you suckle it to the nipple, and then you can go like that, or you can just use it as a hand pump to pump it. If you see me looking at the viewfinder, it's because I'm making sure that it's in the shot. You also have these. These are not shields, but basically they're for collecting. So like, let's say you're breastfeeding on one and you want to collect and you don't like that one, you can also use this one. Or you're just walking around the house cleaning. You use this, suction it onto the tatam, and it goes right in your bra and you can collect. Sometimes you have extra drippage, or if you're an at-home mom, you don't necessarily want to have breast pads on the whole time. They also have the ladybug. I got this for free, so that's why I have these. Other things that you might need while pumping. These are for the microwave, and you can also put them in the freezer. So if you're pumping, right, you want to warm the toes up, or if you're trying to get to the point where you're no longer going to be pumping, and so, but you're still like engorged, you can put these in the freezer, put them on there. Trust me, they're a relief. Other things that you could use. I have 2 of these bad boys. Okay. This not only vibrates, let me see if I'll turn on because I don't even know if it's charged. It's not charged. Okay, well, you press it, turn it on, it'll vibrate. You can ramp it up on how much it vibrates and the fact that it heats up. So it'll help, heat up the tatas. The other thing too is it has this little nudgy thingy where you can like massage into it. And I know this is a lot, but I just want to make sure that you have some knowledge out there, because a lot of this stuff I didn't know either. And my pumping story is a tragic one with my first. With my second. My first, that was not even happening. The thing you're going to need is breast pads for leakage. The bamboo ones, I've heard horrifying stories of women getting, I don't know if it was like culture or what was going on, but I heard bamboo ones are like not necessarily the best to do. I don't know. I'm not going to judge you for whatever choice you make on what you use. Do your research, is what I'm saying. But breast pads, whether they're rewashable ones or whether they're disposable ones, you're gonna need them. Like one or the other. If you're planning on pumping or breastfeeding, you're gonna need this. Also, you're gonna need nipple butter. I heard Mother's Balm is the one of the best. So storage, bottle versus bag. So you can either leave it in a glass bottle with a top on it, or you can put it in a bag and then lay it flat and freeze it. If you're gonna put it in a freezer or in a fridge, make sure you label them so you know time and date on when you pumped or when you had the milk, because you're going to want to know that for later, whether it's sitting out, whether it's in the refrigerator, whether it's in the freezer. You're going to need to know. It's just sanitary. Not only that, but it's something that's going into your baby's body. So you need to make sure that you have a label. Just pretend you're in a restaurant. You're the restaurant, I guess, and label that. If you don't know, in restaurants, you have to label them, whether it's like a big restaurant or it's like a little shop in a Target. You have to label date and time, everything. Care, like I said, you're going to want nipple balm. You're going to want to make sure you have whatever it is, because sometimes you're going to crack, you're going to get sore. Even if you're not planning on breastfeeding or pumping, you're going to want to at least get a small thing of nipple balm, because those suckers are going to hurt. Let me tell you, okay? There's all kinds of different nipple balms. There's all kinds of whatever. Trust me when I say this. At least have you can easily get nipple balm in one of those sample registry whatevers. So just make sure you have it ready to go. Don't go, oh, probably not going to use it. You're going to need it. You're going to need it when you have a baby. If you push out the baby, I'm sorry, let me reiterate. If you push out the baby, you're going to need the nipple balm. Okay, formula feeding, pros and cons. Pros, you can predict the amount. You don't have to worry about, did I pump enough? Did the baby have enough? Or whatever. You have a set measurement of how much you're going to give the baby. Others can feed the baby, so it's really flexible. You don't necessarily have to be the one the mother is not the one that necessarily has to be the one who is sitting down feeding the baby with the breast. Pumping, you're not needed at that point. Again, this is me speaking to a mom. Or a mother that gave birth. Let me reiterate, because sometimes, you have two moms. If you were the one who gave birth and you're formula feeding, you don't have to worry about being the one that's bringing out the milk so that way the baby can be fed, because anybody can do that, right? If you're formula feeding. The cons are the cost. It can cost a lot. Let me tell you, for a good sized tub that's gonna maybe last you not that long, it's like $35 best. And that's on the cheap end. Like, we're not even talking about brand names. We're just talking about your Walmart or Target brand. Okay? That stuff gets expensive. The preparation time, you have to put the formula in, prepare the water. Sometimes if you have a baby that likes warm milk, you have to warm that sucker up. You have to warm it up. Or if you have a baby that likes warm milk, regardless, with pumped, sometimes you have to warm that stuff up too. With breastfeeding, it just goes right into the baby's mouth, so you're not really having to warm anything up. My children did not like warm milk. They either liked lukewarm or cold milk. And I don't mean like cold, like ice in it. I mean like cold out of the refrigerator type of cold. The baby will not be immune supported like they would with breast milk if you are giving them formula. So that is a con. Now, not to say that you should feel ashamed for formula feeding a baby. I formula fed my babies, okay? I'll come out and just say that right now. I formula fed my babies. My first, I was just not comfortable. I was 21. I felt like there was people forcing me to try and breastfeed or to pump. I think I might have ordered a pump through the insurance. I didn't feel comfortable. Like, I just did not feel comfortable at all. With my second one, which was 9 years later, I really wanted to pump. The lactation consultant was trying to force me to breastfeed, and I was emotionally not in the place at that point to breastfeed at all. Not breastfeed, pump. And then when I did pump, I was lucky if 2 ounces came out, and he didn't want milk. There was just a lot of things emotionally going on. He did have tight tongue, so that also added complications onto the whole situation. We were not bonding. Like, it was such a struggle. So he didn't want my breast milk. Like, it was just not working out. Like, no, there was nothing I could have done to make that situation work out. Not only that, but I had not even enough knowledge. And you would think with the lactation consultant being there, I would have gotten more knowledge. She was not helpful. Not at all. I honestly did not get the help that I needed or the education I needed to do that. It was the most that I got out of most people when it came to pumping was, you should pump. You should pump. And it was more of a making me feel obligated or trying to make me feel bad. So I felt like I was kind of being forced into the situation, and less of this is something that would be good and here's all the education you need. I had no idea of any of the stuff like I do now. Luckily, there's a lot more things. The other thing, and this is me being super vulnerable, sensitive. So then I got the best machine that they had for it for my son when I had my son. And even then, it just started. Now I know way more. You're supposed to put oil. So if you don't know this, when you have it, you need to coat it in either a certain oil or balm. Okay. I didn't know that. I was going in dry. Like, I put a little bit of nipple balm, but like, I was basically going in dry. Nobody told me that. So if nobody told you that, ask a question. Like, I'm giving you knowledge, but also ask questions for yourself, because that kind of stuff switches up all the time on, like, oh, use this oil, not that oil. Ask all the questions. Lube that sucker up. Let me tell you, lube it up. Do not be afraid. I think coconut oil, but I also think it can depend. I don't know if the type of oil depends on allergies either. I'm not sure. I'm not educated that far into it. But I would say ask all the questions if that's something that you're concerned about. And then if you want to pump, lube that sucker up, okay? Don't be afraid. Combo feeding helps reduce pressure, allows flexibility, and keeps feeding realistic. I would highly suggest combo feeding, whether it's breastfeeding and pumping or pumping and formula. Again, fed is best, but if you can get some breast milk in for your formula fed baby, even better, because then they have some type of immune support coming on. And then obviously, if you are breastfeeding, I would highly suggest pumping and breastfeeding at the same time, because there are going to be times where you're going to be tired, or you're going to need some type of just space to yourself, where having that extra milk on the side, maybe you just want to like have just mommy time to yourself. Having that milk on the side will definitely help you out, let me tell you. I've seen it happen with my mom so many times where she just needed time to herself, but she had a baby latch to her. It was a hot mess. Bottles. Okay, now we're going to get it into the baby bottle gear breakdown. Okay. You got obviously pump and feeding gear. You have sterilizers for spoiling, bottle warmers, burp cloths, hands-free pumping bras, breast pads. I already showed you guys the breast pads. Only keep what works for you. So let's get into the sterilizers versus boiling. I have done the boiling. when I was really, really, really poor with my first one. I don't recommend it. I highly recommend the sterilizer. I bought a sterilizer. As a matter of fact, for hopefully, if I get pregnant with this next one, I bought a sterilizer. As somebody who has been cleaning bottles since the age of 9, don't be afraid to get a sterilizer. There's so many in different price ranges. Get you a sterilizer that also is a dryer. If I did not have a budget, I would get a wash, sterilizer, and dryer situation. But I don't, so I found one on clearance that is a sterilizer and dryer. Don't feel like you are a unsung hero if you, don't feel obligated to boil. Because let me tell you, that stuff is so time consuming. So time consuming. Please, just get you a sterilizer. It'll save you time. I'm not going to judge you if you choose to boil. But as a veteran mom, don't get me wrong, I love saving money. I will gladly spend $200 on a sterilizer versus boiling them any day of the week. Let me tell you, time is precious, okay? I would rather be spending whatever time it took me. I think at one time it took me an hour. I'd rather spend that 1 hour with my baby than be spending boiling bottles. Ugh, I hate it. Bottle warmers. If your baby needs a bottled warm up, it's probably going to take the same amount of time that you would boiling it. Don't feel like you have to buy a brand name one. Obviously, there's a convenience to having bottle warmers. It might be worth it to you. I don't feel any type of way towards it, to be honest with you, because my children don't like warm bottles. So I don't remember warming up bottles too much with my sisters. It might just be because I don't remember it, or because they didn't need it as often. They didn't really care. They just were hungry, and some of my sisters didn't even have bottles. I think my first sister didn't really have bottles too often. So, and like I showed you guys the hands-free bumping stuff, the ones that just go into your bra and you just suction that sucker in. Okay. All right, let's talk about bottles. Anti-colic wide versus narrow neck versus glass versus plastic versus stainless steel. Choose what works for you. Okay, let me tell you, there are all kinds of bottles on the market. I'm going to bring out some. This one is break-proof glass on the inner and then the plastic on the outside. Okay. I think I showed this in some video. I think I raised my ears. But I'm going to open this so you know. We're looking at this. I also think this is technically a wide bottle versus a narrow is I'll show you this the other one that I have as a narrow. Okay. Glass on the inside, plastic on the outside. You can't even really tell the difference. I didn't buy this. This is a sample. But keep darn good one. This one is also, I did not buy, but this is a sample. This is a glass anti-colic bottle. This is also narrow. Now, with Dr. Brown's, you can get the plastic anti-colicking Dr. Brown's at like a Ross or a Marshall's for cheaper. So just heads up if you're worried about cost. You also get a lot of these free in samples. So just a heads up. I prefer Dr. Brown's when it comes to bottles. I don't necessarily get glass because my kids like to throw things. But this is glass, as you can hear. The anti-colicky part is this. Okay, it helps with air bubbles and whatnot. So if you have a baby that's crying a lot, and I mean a lot, you might want to get you an anti-colicky. The anti-colicky has nothing to do with the glass. You can get a plastic anti-colicky bottle. This is your narrow bottle versus your wide bottle, okay? Bottles come in all different shapes and sizes. They also come in different types of nipples. You could not see that. I'm not being helpful. They come in different types of nipples, okay? Some help with suction. Some don't help at all. Some will actually add to the colicky factor. There is a system that you can do. It's called the triangle method. Like this, okay? On whether it will be able to be more conducive for the baby's mouth. Now, when we are looking at bottles and picking out a bottle that is right for you and your baby, get as much samples as possible because you never know if you're going to need to switch up with all kinds of different nipples, first and foremost, okay? So put in for all the registries and all the samples and all of the things. Do all the things, okay? I'm telling you, most of the bottles I have are bottles I got for free, okay? Let me go grab some. So let me show you. These are all samples, by the way. Okay. Here's one bottle. You see how the nipples just so vastly different, right? This one's kind of trippy, but I think this one is supposed to help with baby suction. If they're breastfeeding, it's better for them to have something that they can transition with. This one is hearability. So if this is something that you might think that you will like, this one I got in a sample. I don't remember from where. Here's another different type of nipple. Okay. This one is Philips Advent. This is a wide bottle. This is another, again, wide bottle. Okay. This might not be as hopeful. I don't know. Well, maybe. I don't know. So I'm not an expert when it comes to bottles, but there are guides out there. So I would highly suggest after you're done with this video, go look those up. But that's another kind of bottle. And then this one's a MAM. I heard MAMs are really good for babies who are breastfeeding and their moms are pumping. So again, this is supposed to help with the nipple draw. I don't know that for sure. That's just something that I've heard. Again, there are videos reviewing different bottles. I would highly suggest you go watch those types of videos. If I can find a link in time, I will link it down below, but don't depend on that. Trust me when I say this. Find you a bottle that's going to work for you. No. Oh, samples. Get all the samples. Because your baby might switch up on you. They might like a wide bottle or they might like a thin bottle. You never know. The system that I was planning on using originally with my son hated it. I spent I don't know how much money. I know I got it on sale, but I know I spent a ridiculous amount of money getting the system that I did. My son ended up hating it. And so I was really upset because I had 12 Dr. Brad's bottles that I ended up giving to somebody else because I wasn't planning on using it. And then I regretted it because I ended up needing it. So get you sample bottles just in case. Nipples. Okay. So the one thing I love about Dr. Brown's bottles is I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there is a one on the bottle, on the nipple itself. Okay. A lot of the nipples are labeled 0 to 3, newborn, whatever. The thing I like about this nipple is that it's labeled. So even if you mix all the nipples up, you'll know exactly which nipple this is. So you don't then have to worry about it. So when you first start out, you want slow, then eventually you're going to go to medium. I don't think that we ever went to fast flow. So I would highly suggest talking to your pediatrician because information changes all the time, especially in the baby world. It's always changing. It's always whatevering. So knowledge that we had 3 years ago has changed. Everything's always changing. Don't be afraid to ask questions, even in the comments down below. There are times where somebody's going to give out a tip. It is out-of-date tip. Not saying that you don't need to listen to it, just saying, yes, we should be giving each other tips, but also fact check those tips because it could be out of date. Who knows? Hey, feeding your baby made simple. That is best, like we said. Choose the method that fits your life and your baby's needs. There is no perfect parent, no perfect feed, only what works for your family. I will say this 100 times throughout this video series. This is a safe zone. If I see one person saying something judgmental in the comments down below, I will promise you the second I see it, I will delete it. I don't care if we agree or if whatever, I don't care what it is. Like, even if I 100% agree with you, if I feel like your comment is being judgmental, I'm going to delete it because I don't want parents coming into the game to feel judged. You should not feel judged. Whatever you're doing to feed your baby is what's best for you, and that's it. The only time I'm going to judge you is if you're giving your baby drugs, and then I think I have a right to judge you at that point. As long as you're doing what's best for you and your family, that's all that really matters, okay? I hope that this video was helpful. I have more in the works. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye. Queen. You walk in the room and the vibe shifts. Girls tremble with the wind through the girl. They dream sitting on your pretty little seats. We don't try hard, we just breathe and do a team. People look at you, breathe. I get me by the queen. Step, I do the same. Yeah, they don't know, they still, they say much to me. Stop, but and you shine, never need it. In the